Okay, welcome to the annual meeting of OpenNESS. This is our fourth meeting that we have had, and actually we are very far in the project, so this is very exciting. This is also going to be our last annual meeting, and because of that it's also really important. And the sad thing is that I'm not presently there. I'm really sorry I can't be with you, but I'm happy to share this presentation with you, and whenever you need I can be in contact through Skype. But despite that, I'm sure it's going to be an excellent meeting, and I already here would like very much to thank Kurt for hosting the meeting and making so much effort on this. Also Heli and Sanna-Riikka, who has worked really hard, the people in UFZ and the PSC as a whole, and all of you who has made the effort to come here, some of you from very far distances. The idea of my presentation is to give some idea what has happened since our last meeting. There are many things that has happened. For example, we have grown even though the project is so far. We are now 37 partners in the project, and this is because a couple of people have moved to other institutions to work. So we have a partner in Austria and a new partner in UK now in the project. This meeting is all about synthesizing. We are working in work packages, but actually at this point of the project we are very much synthesizing things. We are trying to build the connection of the different work packages and the outputs and outcomes that we have actually gained. And the idea is, as we usually say, is to get more out of it than what we would be able to do separately. So we want to synthesize our messages. What are the messages that are actually something we want to synthesize? And how we want to synthesize, how we want to communicate the synthesis that we are producing. So there's a lot to give, and we have already worked on this for 1 year, and we have another year to go. So when we are talking about how we communicate, we are going to talk about the OPLA, the synthesis papers, the decision trees and multi-scale solutions that all will go to OPLA, also the case presentations. We have the policy recommendations, very much of synthesizing, also the meetings that we are organizing. We have the synthesizing publications that are upcoming, and then we also have the science policy book that is, we are writing a paper on about our synthesis outputs. We have already 4 very nice policy briefs, and there are many still to come, as you can see from the bubble. I would like to also remind what were the key questions of the project, because that helps us to orientate to this meeting and to the synthesizing work. So we want to say from the very beginning how to translate the ecosystem services and natural capital concepts into operational frameworks, and also how these concepts can be embedded in existing practice or used to transform current management and policy approaches. This is what we have been doing, and this is what we are synthesizing on. And this we are all familiar with. This is our OpenNESS approach, and now we are in the synthesizing phase, so it was planned from the very beginning. And when we are looking at the activities or the actual work that we are doing, we are also very familiar to this iterative process, the double helix that we call it, where we have the cases and methods meeting in the cross-work package meetings. And now we are in the very final refinement phase, where we are enjoying what we have actually learned. So just briefly some results. This is only a very scratched from the results. I think one of the very nice things are the conceptual development synthesis papers that actually became 27 at the end. This is an old picture, soon they all are in blue and available to the world, and I know that many people who are not in OpenNESS are using already these in their practical work, practice work. About concepts, something that has happened during the project is that we started with ecosystem services and natural capital, but we are very much moving into nature-based solutions. And this is really nice in the sense that we are reflecting to the changes that are taking place outside the project, that we are not in a bubble, but we are part of the society, part of the things that are happening in the environment and in the debates in the societies. A very nice piece of work was also the one where we analyzed how actually the regulatory frameworks are reflecting at the moment these different concepts. And this is now very much feeding into developing new kind of regulatory frameworks. And a very nice piece where we were looking how the ecosystem providers, the biotic attributes and the abiotic factors actually are linking to our ecosystem services and how these should be taken into account in the future operational frameworks. Very useful material, and this will soon be in OPLA in a nice infographics as well. And in the valuation issue that has been kind of a cornerstone of ecosystem services, we are very much worked on the integrated model where we are not having big arguments, should it be a monetary or non-monetary, and how should the different elements be taken into account. We are developing, and it's very far, the integrated operational framework for using them all as a toolbox. And we have the demand and supply where we have developed many tools and methods to actually analyze the different elements of it. Here is one on the cultural ecosystem services where actually people are identifying the different demands that they have. And case studies, we are all working with case studies. We have case study advisory boards and people and partners working only on case studies, but I would say that everyone in OpenNESS has been somehow linked with the case studies. That's where everything has happened. And we are doing the co-design with the CAPs, and we are making observations, and we are reflecting the assessments and development. And I must say that the policymakers have been extremely interested in this element already now, and I've given the material as much as possible to their use already. Well, OPLA is moving into a new phase. We have really succeeded to do what was meant, the business plan, and soon there will be a OPLA, a real company called OPLA, which will then take it all over after OpenNESS and Operas. And EC&C is the potential host owner of this OPLA, and I hope that this materializes very soon. The material goes in here, and it's been very warmly taken up by the policymakers. There's been plenty of communication, and this you have many taken part in. There's been events, there's been publications, and there's been articles made from us to others, and we have gone to different venues as well, which has been just great. For example, articles, you can see that we have published in all these different journals, and in some of them there are many articles by OpenNESS people. The policy day was very successful. There's a video on it that you can look at afterwards. It was in Brussels the 1st of March, and before that we also had a meeting with other projects similar to ours. And that was organized together with the Commission and with operas. And the forthcoming event that Ben will soon tell you more about this is our final conference that we actually in the end decided to organize together with operas, with ESP, with Ecoplan. And that is in September, and I hope that you all remember to send in abstracts and come on site. And we are going to also have an OpenNESS only dinner there for us to get together. The summer school, as usual, is also going to be again a great event for OpenNESS. There are several lecturers as usual from OpenNESS, and this time we are also funding 2 to 3 students from OpenNESS partners to take part in the summer school. And Eco Summit is another great global event that is taking place in France in summer, and here as well there are many sessions organized by OpenNESS, and there will be presentations by OpenNESS as well. If you want to know more, you can ask Sandra Lokue, for example. Well, as I say, we are in the very end. We have 12 more months to go. And this will be lots of writing. The PSC keeps track of the project and makes sure that everything happens. We have several meetings. 1 month later we'll meet in Oslo. And it's still open, and I hope there will be discussions here whether we want to have some other get-togethers, whether people and partners still have some funding for that. But world continues after OpenNESS, and I think it would be really good that you use your partners and your connections and the OPLA community and develop something based on OpenNESS, and that you demonstrate in practice that the things that we have developed here can actually be used in the society for the sustainability sake. So thank you very much. Once again, I hope we have a lovely meeting here, and I'll try to be somehow present all the time, at least in your hearts. Thank you.